Hillary Raven Porter here with Sacred Starseed Healing. I'm a Tameana Starseed Oracle and a Sacred Grid Weaver. And today, now, in this moment, I want to talk a little bit more about Tameana and just share kind of my journey with Tameana and what that's looked like, because it kind of permeates everything I do. Because this is where, yeah, I'll just start from the beginning and it'll maybe make sense as I go. I'm kind of tangenty today, so I've recorded a few videos and I'm finding, so it's the 11:11 portal right now, so I'm finding, and it's super windy outside. I keep looking this way because that's where the window is, and I feel contemplative. I feel slowed down a little bit, and I'm pretty rapid fire usually, quick, and just like like I get a lot done. I'm quick with just like the thought processes and coming to seeing patterns and all that. And today it feels more, yeah, like, I don't want to say a stutter step, but a little, it's not a stutter step. It's just more feeling in the body. So I just recorded another video and talked a little bit about what happened last night with Tameana and the Gatha Code. So how did my journey begin with Tameana? What is even Tameana? So when I first heard about Tameana, I actually had no idea what it was, like, at all. I remember reading the description and going, oh, crystals. Oh, Pleiadians. And I reread it multiple times, the description of the training. And I read it and read it and read it and was like, I have no idea what I'm actually getting into, but it feels right. It feels like what I need to do, right? And so I did it. It was me and one other being in that training, and literally my life was changed. That was, so there's times in our lives when what's my hair doing? There's times in our lives that feel like those were the steps we were supposed to be taking, right? We went this step and we had this experience, and then there's this another step over here where we're like, and we might take different routes to get to this place. But then when we get that place, we're like, oh, this was supposed to happen. This was the next step in my evolution, in my personal evolution. This was it. And Tameana was it. So the step before that is I'd had this massive car accident in 2008. And that just like shifted the trajectory of my life immensely. And then this Tameana was this next major level. So I go to this training. And Tameana it's more than a crystal healing modality. It's not just a crystal healing modality. It is a whole template of Pleiadian medicine that uses crystals as amplifiers. But it's so much more than that. I have seen it change people's patterns that have impacted them their whole lives. I have seen it change timelines for people that are in the lives of the people that have had the session. So, you know, like a mother of one of my clients, all of a sudden seeing shifts in what we were working on during sessions. I have seen it clear trauma that the person didn't realize was still trapped within them. Oh my goodness. I've experienced it with massive heart opening. I've experienced it with emotional balance. I have seen it physical challenges. I have seen it people make massive transformational strides through the one program from Force to Flow of like, oh, those are my patterns, and completely recalibrating and reformatting their lives to being more in alignment with their actual purpose. And it's so subtle and such a simple process, but it can be so impactful. Like last night, the Gatha Code, I was just like, I fell asleep, I woke up, I'm like, yep, that's another major shift and change and patterning, right? It connects us to our divinity. It connects us to the Pleiadians. It can open up wisdom that we were like, oh, that's what's inside of me. Abilities that we have. So anyway, so I went to this training and learned, and that's when stuff started shifting. So I was like, oh, there's Jake. And Erin, the lady I was learning from, was like, who's Jake? I'm like, oh, that's my guide. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, yeah, a guide just came. And so Jake came in, and he's the first, what I thought was the first Pleiadian guide. And then I was looking over at the person that was training with me, and I was doing the session for her on her, and I could see these shapes forming and the stuff going on. And I was originally taught that you like can activate the crystals and then between the chakra levels. So I call this one the foundational chakra levels. And when you go through this one, you can like activate, and then you can like go make a cup of tea, come back after 5 minutes, activate the next one. And I was like, I can't do that. I need to be in that session because information was like flowing through. And then shortly after, I was doing sessions, and I could hear the light code in my head. I could hear the light language in my head and kind of speak it in my head. And then I would speak it under my breath during sessions. And then I'd have clients be like, what is this that you're speaking? And I was like, oh, it's light language, I think. Because I didn't really have any idea. I mean, now it's literally through my whole life. It happens when we're going places, and as I get activated, also just did a video today on what does it mean to be activated. But when I get activated and amplified, it just comes out. And then when there's messaging coming, it comes out. And in session, it comes out. And it's a language we may not understand all the time. I get images in my head, and I can ask for these, or I can also ask for something to occur within the grid work of a person's energetic field. And then they will speak the code to allow that to happen. And sometimes it's just the codes coming out. And even if we don't understand it, it's changing us at a cellular level, right? It's changing our very DNA structure. It's reminding us of the star planets. It's reminding us of the stars within us, the stars where we've come from, and the stars that are waiting to still be born within us and for us. So the light language started coming, and it was within, so it was in October, I think it was October that I trained, September maybe, it was fall of 2018, and then it was about December, January, it wasn't that many months later, and all of a sudden I look over at my partner, Derek, and I was like, I need a piece of paper and a pen, stat, and he's like, okay, and then these symbols came out, and they were the Antakarana. I was like, what is this Antakarana? And they're like, this is the next level of Tameana. So first wave download Tameana. So it was from Juan Manuel Giordano from South America. And the first wave included 4 levels. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 levels. You'll understand why I meant. So 4 levels. The first level works with the chakra, the foundational chakras, and then the 7 chakras, as most people know them, the base chakras. And then we have the mat, which I call the universal hexagram. And then we have group healing. And then we have geomancy, so using the crystals to clear energy in space, right? So those are the 4 levels. And so this was after the first level. These downloads come, and I was like, okay, what do we do with these? And so we have foundational Tameana, we have Antakarana Tameana, and there's these symbols that go above the head, and they connect us into our galactic core, etheric bodies, and all the different layers of our aura. So the difference that we've come to know between the Gaia cord and the Antakarana is the difference between feeling as though you're free floating on water, and you feel buoyed up, and you feel carried, right? And you feel expansive, and you're just like, oh, this feels so good. Versus the Gaia code. So that's Antakarana. And the Gaia code is you feel comforted, but like this. And one with all, but like this, as opposed to, ah. So you're like being held this way versus being held up in the stars, being held on the water, floating and being particulated. This is more of a, I don't want to say contraction, but contraction not in a bad way, right? So I get trained. Less than 6 months later, all of a sudden, these symbols come, and I'd been seeing the guides and the seven sisters. So about I don't even know. Piso dash key. Years before that, I don't know, quantum time. So between 2008 and 2018, I had seen this wonderful healer in Nora in Vancouver, and that's when the seven sisters reappeared. So the seven sisters, of which I am 8, we were priestesses together. We were priestesses of Hathor in Egypt, and that was the last time we were all incarnated. And they came out during a session with her. They came and surrounded the table, the head of the table where I was getting this wonderful Bowen therapy treatment. And they started being present and just being around in my world. But then Tameana came into my world, and they are the seven sisters of which I am 8 from the Pleiades. The Pleiades. That is where our home base was before we started incarnating on this earth. So in comes Antakarana Tameana, and a higher self states, clearing all the layers within the higher self states, right? Going in, so the guides come in and they do the psychic surgeries while you're, like, I've seen them go in and like pop out little voice boxes. They love for the voice box. It's like literally a little square, and they like pop the top off and they go in and they tinker, and it reminds me of people when they're doing those like you know, like the little wind-up boxes. It's like they open that and they're like tinkering around in these little wind-up boxes, and then they place them back in and smooth them over, and they're doing the work to help you change the patterning. It's absolutely mind-blowing watching some of the stuff that they do. So the Antakarana is happening. Like, it literally, when I think it was 2018 when I was introduced to this, the amount that it has impacted my life and shifted my life, it feels like it's been forever. And welcome to quantum time, which I've talked about before. So much happening in so little time, right? Like, already I'm like, oh, it's only been 12 minutes. It feels like it's been a while that I've been talking. Yeah, so now what does this look like? So then in August, this past August, so we've got foundational, the Antakarana came. I took the other levels of the first wave downloads, so the ones that were from Juan Manuel. I've been calling them first wave downloads, and then the information that comes through me is second wave downloads, because this is why I'm here, is for the second wave downloads. The first wave downloads, they were brought through Juan Manuel, because he was in the right time in the right place, and he was an open conduit. And so the first wave came through them, and I had so many questions when I learned. I was like, yeah, but what does this symbol mean? What does this symbol do? Well, you just pick one and then it does stuff. And I was like, no, there's more. I know there's more. Atitakai, and the guides are like, okay, you want it? Here you go. You get it. So Derek trained in it. And so then we had Sarah, was Derek's guide, and then she came into sessions with me as well, and then Jake would go in with Derek, and now it's for myself. I can't speak to Derek, but the seven sisters are the ones that come in, and the 3 layers of the seven sisters. The original way they showed was their initial physical embodiment, let's say, and then they've shown me their second layer, and then, which was the Egyptian, and then the third layer, most recent, which I don't have as much information about at this point in time, is the ziggurats, the Aztecs. And when I looked up languaging and what does that sound like, the Aztec language, I was like, oh, that makes sense, because that's some of the stuff that I hear coming through my mouth and in my head. So then I got the other layers of Tameana. I trained in them with Titoshaka through the same lovely being Aaron. And then things just shifted again and again and again and more. And I'm like, oh, well, we put this here because of that. And just like information coming through. And then this August, I got the Gatha Code, the code that I was talking about from last night, the session that happened last night, and then after last night's session, sat down and they were like, here's the Pleiadian star code. It's like the Pleiadian star code. To connect you into the direct star system of the Pleiadian, to unlock all the levels of statukutar star coding within you to run in parallel with that of the Pleiades. The star coding up in the sky. Direct transmissions. So then the Gaia code. So now we have, call them harmonic resonances. We have the first harmonic resonance, which is the foundational Tameana. So that works through our foundational chakras. Root, sacral, solar plexus, the heart, the throat, soma, the third eye, and the crown, yeah. And that works within, Tameana works within the chakras, within the chakras, within the chakras, within the chakras. So we don't just have the root chakra. We have the root chakra within the sacral, the root chakra within the solar plexus, the root chakra within the heart, and so on and so forth. So it's layer upon layer upon layer within each, within each. So when you work on the root chakra, when you do Tameana, you're like, oh, okay. So I have a hard time connecting with my heart in relationships because I feel like I'm not being heard because I, as a child, was meant to cry it out. So I don't feel heard from the people that should have loved me in this way. Not should, but knew no different way than to treat that situation in this way. But now my heart, from that sacral experience, is having this challenge. So foundational Tameana goes through that, and there's a specific way. So we're like, here we go, Hillary. Let's do the pucks this way. The pucks symbols, all right? I call them pucks because they're on pucks. I have them on wooden pucks. So the symbols, if you lay the symbols out this way and you do the process this way, you can access each of the chakras within the chakras very specifically. I call this the chakra scrub. It's lovely. It's lovely. Like I said, I've been through it. I do my programs before I offer them out because I need to know what they do. I need to know how they feel. I can't just be like, yeah, I think it does this. No, I need to experience this. Also, Derek does it too. I'm like, Derek, ready? He's like, what are we doing now? He's got such capacity. I'm so blessed. So blessed. So we've got the foundational harmonic resonance number 1, harmonic resonance number 2, papusito tashakito onu tabasa dash 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 is antakarana Tameana. So we still use the foundational levels, the chakra levels, but now we are also using symbols more than just the master symbol, not the master symbol, the focus symbol, the influential symbol, we have this whole row going up, right? Within this harmonic resonance number 2, so let's say harmonic resonance 2B, we have the Gaia code. So this is different. This we go down into the earth, into the symbols that are below our feet, down into the earth. This goes into our timelines. Timelines for every incarnation we've had on this planet. Versus the Antakarana, which deals with all of our timelines, but less intensely for the earth ones. So they'll help the earth timelines as well and be like, oh, here we go. But this, the Gaia code, specifically, your feet have touched the earth. You've been here as a plant. You've been embedded in the earth. You've been a rock. You've been an animal. You've been on this earth because she has this like grid work all over her. Her own Akashic records, this earth, Akashic records of the earth, being like, oh yeah, remember that time you did this? Remember that time you did this? This is what's next. This is what's happening. All connected. And so the Gaia code goes in, and it's 7 symbols. So it takes where you're at now. So let's say you're 21 for my easy math. And we divide that by 7. So each layer as we go down is like now minus 3 years, minus 3 years, minus 3 years. So each of those symbols is impacting that period of life. 3, 6, 9, 12, right? And the very last symbol at the bottom is 0 to 3 years old. And it's impacting you now, but then all the timelines, the before and the then, the coming, right? And the now, and everything along that timeline. Yeah. I have some notes here because like literally this is off the presses. So moves through the layers of your life, yeah. Yeah. Abubashkai. I think I got this all though. Bitudoshkai, because it's so profound. Atuto, atutai, and it's the end of the Gaia code. The 1 is the center of Gaia. And you end on Homatrahi, the crown. Both original sources. Because the Gaia code taps you into the original heartbeat of the earth. The original speck of where she began. There's so much ancient wisdom down through her core. It's profound, profound. So we have foundational harmonic resonance level 1, harmonic resonance number 2, which might shift. We got A, Antakarana, B, Titoko Gaia code, and now C, the Palladian star code. Then we have the universal hexagram. No symbols here, Titoga, but it's a hexagram around your being that focuses the energy so intensely. And it goes into all your cellular structures. Switching on the DNA pieces. Amplifying that current and finding, so I find that it goes, there's different aspects that will talk about different parts of your life. So that one looks at your life in quadrants, in 4. And where is that piece that is needing some more love and some more attention? And this information will come up. Some work will be done on the background as well. In the foreground, as in like the guides are in there doing some psychic surgeries and stuff up in the ethers and through the grid work. And then information comes up for then you to also consciously work with. Then we have the group heal. This has been mind-blowing. But so the group heal is not just the group heal anymore. Titoka, not as the first wave download. The second wave download, they now can be chakra focused. Atita, so a whole group of people, batitata, working on the root together. Because when you do this work, you're doing the work for the collective. It vibrates out. It's like I said in the beginning, I've seen and experienced with clients, they're like, yeah, this changed in my family member. And it was something that was linked through. So through them doing the work, that was shifting. Because you go out and people can feel the ripple coming off of you. They're like, what is going on? That's a whole nother story about making sure you have good boundaries. Because as your light starts shining more and your vibration is finer, people, like things, they're there. They're coming in towards you. And you're just like, hey, here's my healthy boundary. Right? But that is why we are able to also help create change amongst our family and friends and people we just come into contact with when we're out and about. Animals, beings, everything. So the group heal. And then last night there was a Tashiko. I'm very excited for this one. The Palladian star code as a group, as a gathering. And the Gaia code as a group, as a gathering. And then we have the geomancy. The using crystals to infuse them, to charge them, to draw. Like quartz is amazing. Quartz, if you ever get the chance, look up quartz. Quartz is the master healer. We're just like, oh, it's everywhere. It's not a big deal. Clear quartz. Yeah, we see it. No, it amplifies, it charges. It can be used as a record keeper. The quartz that I use for Tameana stays for Tameana. It doesn't get used in anything else. So it is encoded with Tameana. And the more you use that, the more it becomes. So the more powerful it becomes, but the more it becomes, the more it's like if you're studying something, the more information you have, and as you're studying, all of a sudden it's just there and it's quick and it's fast, right? And that's the same with the quartz. Yeah, I've recently had somebody take, so the vibrational elixirs and the clear quartz that I had made, and they woke up in the middle of the night and had this really intense moment, and they were all out of sorts, and they took the clear quartz elixir, and it brought them right back to center and calmed their state of mind. It calmed their heart. It cleared them. It clarified everything. Clear quartz, right? And so that's what we use this for in the geomancy level, in the clearing level. Yeah, so that's Tameana in a nutshell. So much more, right? If you have any questions or you'd like to know more, you can, all my information will be below. If you're finding this on IG, then check out the link in my bio. If you're finding this on YouTube, check out the links down below. And if you're called to wanting to learn this wisdom, then please reach out, because this is amazing, amazing wisdom that will change your life and also that of those around you. Yeah, all the levels, right? And if you want to experience it yourself, I'm also here. But yeah. Okay. Oh, Tameana. Holding you in star-dusted love, and keep that heart open. Continue to return to your heart. Tito Tashkaya, Tito Atuboch Takaya. Keep doing the work. It's worth it. You're worth it. Yeah. And it brings you closer to your heart, to the embodiment of your heart. So you're just living as your heart, which is pure bliss, but also takes work. Pure bliss. And sometimes you're like, this is bliss? No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's work. Okay. So much love and stardust. And I'll see you soon.